Hello everyone, I'm Professor Scott from Horry-Georgetown Technical College. We are here in the Criminal Justice Building in room 706. Currently we're working today with our photography class on working and photographing crime scenes. As you can see, a lot of the students are actually learning how to photograph and technical photograph crime scenes, photographing evidence. We use mock crime scenes for them to learn how to work with the camera functions, work with flashes, and how to process scenes through photography. Some of the students are actually doing sketches of the crime scene that's part of the photography work that they do, putting in pieces that are inside of the crime scene into the sketch to go along with the photographs that they are taking at the present time. So as you take a look, you can see, some, like I said, some of them are working on sketches. Some of them are doing some more general and close-up work of specific pieces of evidence that are located near the body that's in the crime scene, in the mock crime scene that we have.
And for people tuning in, this is all artificial.
That is correct.
This is a class. This is a dummy. This is fake.
A representation of what a natural crime scene would look like. Everything is artificial, all the way down to the dummies that are used. That's why we use them. Some of the contaminants on the dummies are also artificial to make it look like real blood, real wound tracks, and everything that's actually on the dummies and stuff. So that's what they're actually doing in here. This is one of the classes that we offer during the summer. We offer other classes in the CSI program, such as criminalistics, bloodstain pattern analysis, fingerprint science, practical crime scene, criminal investigation. Those are other combined classes that we use in the CSI program.
Wonderful. Thank you, Professor Scott. All right, Dr. Weissaum.
As Professor Scott said, the reason it's rather cluttered in the lab is that we have students that are currently involved in courses, one that he mentioned. There are a number of rooms in the building 700, which is the Criminal Justice Center. This is one of the two labs. This is the main CSI lab. We have the equipment that most people would use if they were a crime scene tech with a local police department all the way up to state and federal. And as Professor Scott said, we have a number of courses that you go through to prepare you for work in that area. Around the lab, for example, we have a video enhancement unit. We could do video, audio, and photography as far as enhancement. We've assisted local law enforcement in enhancing, bringing out photographs such as security video, places like business and so forth that have had armed robberies or some other type of crime. Over behind me is a photo box which has a Rubis camera. Rubis camera is a high-resolution camera used to develop fingerprints and trace evidence and biological evidence through using alternative light sources. The camera is currently not on it because it's locked up. It's a rather expensive and delicate camera, but our students train on that, learn how to use it. In fact, some of the fingerprints, impressions as well that we have gotten off of different items have a better quality to them than what you would find in dusting with fingerprint powder utilizing chemicals. Down the side of the room that I'm facing are different workstations. You can see they're rather cluttered because they've been working on fingerprinting, developing latent prints from different items. There are stations that are self-fuming, self-ventilating, so students won't encounter any type of chemicals or powders that might be hazardous to their health, I guess you say. And also we have several that are able to take larger items of evidence. We also have a number of smaller chambers where we can use superglue to fume and develop prints that are not visible to the naked eye. And once we fume them, and what it is the oil on your hand actually hardens. If you ever had superglue on your hand, you get that white effect to it. it actually hardens where you can go ahead and either powder or photograph or actually put it under the roof's camera. But it allows us to see fingerprints that typically are not visible, and it has some of the same principles, like I said, associated with the roof's camera. Also, we have a larger fume chamber that can be used for larger items such as rifles, shotguns, and so forth. And then each one of these are workstations, and on the workstations we have magnifying lights where the student can actually look at smaller items of evidence and have an illuminated type of magnification. Again, this is one of two labs. The other lab is down the hall. It's a lab that we use to set up crime scenes, similar to what you saw in 706. Although 706 is a classroom that we're using just for today because of the purposes of the type of crime scene they're doing. We have an overflow lab where we can actually do crime scenes, set up crime scenes for the students to work on it. We can also do blood spatter analysis. We train our students to be able to deal with how to interpret blood stains associated with homicides and other types of offenses. We also have a number of other items there that we use, such as the fuming chamber that I mentioned. Again, we are a fully operational lab, except the only thing we can do is DNA and ballistics. Everything else we have the capability. And I'll give you an example. The cameras that our students are using right now with Professor Scott. This is one of the cameras, and as you can see, it's not a tinker toy. It's a very expensive camera, and in fact, most crime scene units would love to have this camera for their processing the crime scenes. It's very similar to the camera that South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division uses with their crime scene unit. It's an Icon, and as I said, it's one of the more advanced cameras you can find on the market. It's SLR, single lens reflex, and works much like the old 35mm cameras with, again, the ability to go with much more of a quality picture, a high resolution picture. Kind of conclude, we have 3 programs of criminal justice. One that we just introduced you to somewhat is the criminal crime scene investigation program. That's designed for students who are interested to go into working crime scenes, whether it's law enforcement officer or one of the states or one of the agencies that also hires civilian non-sworn personnel as crime scene techs. And also we have the regular criminal justice program, which is transfer or general. That program transfers to a number of colleges in this area, as well as South Carolina and other locations. And then we have the Homeland Security program, which is designed for students that are interested in, when they graduate, going into public and private security, situations associated with airports, physical plants such as power plants, utilities which are vulnerable to terrorism. And you get involved with situations such as threat assessment and so forth. But it's more for students that are interested in the physical plant security, such as you might find in the military, the federal government, or in public utilities. And most of the instructors that teach in there have a background in the military and also in the area of corporate and private and actually public security, as I mentioned. My contact information will be available to you at the end of this, and certainly feel free to contact me if you have any further questions. Thank you.